Hello Bermuda, and welcome to this edition of Up Close with yours truly, Colin Thompson, your host. Do enjoy the show. Nahki Wells' first full season in the Sky Bet Championship with Huddersfield Town was not exactly your proverbial bed of roses. The second of manager Mark Robins' injury and a dip in form and confidence all conspired against Huddersfield's Bermudian striker, who joined the club midway through the 2013-14 campaign for an undisclosed club fee over £1 million. But Wells is made of sterner stuff these days, and despite the ups and downs, he managed to come out on the other side a much better player who remains determined to leave his mark in the English game.
I think it's been a good year for me. I think I would have been put in some predicaments that I've never been in terms of a slight loss of form, not being selected, managerial changes, and things of that nature. But it all came together in the end. I think statistically, it probably wasn't as good as it actually was. I know my game's come on late from the last time we spoke, and I'll say, I could take loads of positives out of the season. I think I finished well. And I'm going into next season on finishing the campaign on good form and with a decent goal ratio in the last 30 seasons.
A thumping 4-0 home defeat at the hands of eventual league champions Bournemouth in their season opener at John Smith Stadium was hardly the start that Wells and his teammates were looking for. Worse yet, the sobering result cost Robins, the man who had played an integral role in bringing Wells to the club from Bradford City, his job as Huddersfield's manager. Robins, the former Manchester United striker who is largely credited for helping Sir Alex Ferguson avoid the sack early during his illustrious tenure at Old Trafford, was replaced by Chris Powell, the ex-Crystal Palace and England defender. The relationship between Wells and Powell started off on good terms, but there were times when player and manager did not see eye to eye, at least in terms of strategy.
Chris Powell came in and I took to him immediately. I think his personality is the right match for me. I think he's straightforward, but he came in, he wanted to do different things in different ways, and some days I was involved, some days I wasn't. I didn't once think he didn't rate me or believe in me. I just think he didn't know what formation and what team was his best team, because none of the players were actually his players. So he tinkered with it a bit and affected me in some ways, because sometimes I was doing well, I was scoring goals and not playing the next game. And as a striker, that's affecting your confidence. And then, he liked to play 4-3-3 with a target man, which therefore leaves me out the equation, and to play it for maybe not winning. And, I ran a few games without coming on, and I was questioning whether or not I had a future at the club, or he saw me in his plans. And I spoke to him, and he once said, I was always in his plans.
Everybody comes in with their own ideas. They want to bring in their own players. That's just the nature of the game. And sometimes they want to move players on and they can for whatever reasons, and yeah, that happened to me a couple times at Stoke.
With his future at the club in doubt, Wells had a heart-to-heart conversation with his boss to determine the way forward.
And I spoke to him, and he once said, I was always in his plans, and he didn't want me to leave. And I just sat there, wrote it out, because you have ups and downs of football, I know that. And as time went on, I started to play more. And I would genuinely say I did from Christmas period to now, I did very well in terms of the games I played.
Being in and out of the squad, however, was not the only challenge Wells was confronted with last term.
I did very well in terms of the games I played. I had some setbacks. I had a freak shoulder injury, clavicular joint injury that kept me out for a month, which I came back probably sooner than I had to, but I had the World Cup qualifiers, and we ended up having another injury in the striker, so that forced me back in. I got sent off, or silly sending off, which made me miss a few games. And a niggle injury against Leeds in the derby, which made me miss another game. So it was a bit crazy. I missed maybe like 8 to 10 games in a matter of maybe 20, where statistically I could have got goals and probably reached the 20 mark, but I unfortunately didn't, and I ended on 14. But it's loads of positives there, and that's sort of how my season's been, in other words.
After tweaking his game and making sacrifices, Wells' fortunes began to take a turn for the better.
I felt I had to make sacrifices in my game. I mean, I know my strengths and I know what I can do. I don't think some managers believed in that, and it sort of forced me to be that striker that's just off the shoulder scoring goals. But I know I have more to offer than that, and I think I spoke to Chris, Chris Paul, the gaffer, around December, and I said I can see that it may affect me playing if I just have to play that role, because we had another James Vaughan similar to that, and I just thought it would help me if I could show him that, if he needs me to drop deep or playing away from him, to be sturdy and to be like that number 10 striker, I could do that. And as the games went on, I did it. I filled that role. I was creating goals, I was still scoring goals, and I thought it brought a balance to us away from him, and you saw that in the results that we weren't losing away from him in the last 10 games, and we was actually picking up points and winning and at home. So that's something that I really look at it as a player. I think you need to develop those types of traits, not only to be one type of striker. Sometimes you have to adapt in games, and I think the fact that he believed in me and said, you can do that role is giving me the confidence to try to make it work. And I thought it worked in the last third of the season, so I'm looking to go back and play in a similar way and be able to cause defenders different problems in different ways.
Wells ended the 2014-15 campaign as Huddersfield's leading scorer with 14 goals, a feat that also did the player's confidence the world of good.
That's an award that I guess any striker should strive for and will strive for to win. And I'm thankful I got 14. I'm happy with. I wouldn't say I'm really happy with that, but I'm happy to get the award, and it's about every season trying to better myself as a player.
His goals were vital. We didn't play like all the time, under the new manager, and he was coming on as a substitute and still scoring, so that bodes well for him, and a lot of those things will be taken into consideration with other clubs looking at him.
Wells has so far banged in 21 goals and 59 appearances since his arrival at Huddersfield, where he made a dream start after scoring the winner in a 1-0 home win over Millwall to become an instant hit among his club's fans.
That obviously I hit the ground running on my debut scoring away to QPR and starting off well, and they took to me straight away, and they still take to me. I mean, Huddersfield's obviously a different club from Bradford and the way it is, but the fans have been spectacular. I love playing at the John Smith Stadium. The fans are good, and they've taken to me well, and all I can say is thank you to that, and it's helped me settle. And now I'm home. One
of the key things is when you go to a new club, especially for a forward, is to perform well right from the beginning, and that settle-in period, becomes so much easier for you. And he managed to do that with Bradford, and then with Huddersfield, scoring on his debut with Huddersfield. So those things, it buys you time. When you don't do well right from the beginning, people start doubting you. That's the nature of the game, and even for yourself, you may have a little doubts in your mind, but deep down you feel that you can do it.
Huddersfield placed 16th in the 2014 championship standings last term, a ranking that Wells believes is not a fair reflection of the team's potential.
I think we're far better than where we finished. I just think we're a bit naive, we're young, in many ways we're inexperienced. We had a few experienced players, and I think we blew a lot of points not really knowing how to win games or see out games, or even picking up points or picking up away points in which we deserved. But as time goes on and as things develop in terms of the manager and the team selection and players that are coming in, I just thought every 10 games we got better and better, and I think we ended on a high note. We didn't lose in maybe 7, I don't think. I think we got a point at Blackpool, which we deserved 3, in my opinion, and we ended up finishing 16th instead of 15th, and that's just below mid-table. But I think we're definitely a top half team. We could pick up points against the big boys and always pick up points, and we could drop points against the lower half. So I think that's our target, and that's something the manager probably gonna stress this season, that we need to be beating the teams that are below us, because we could go away or play at home and pick up the points against the top 6. So that says it all. It's just a matter of, you know, understanding how to win games, and we're all becoming more experienced, and I'm sure we know how to do that.
Everyone at Danny Tom, you know that he is our #1 player. No one has reached what he has done yet.
Maybe a jump to the Premiership, probably, it could have worked out for him. We went last season, but he's shown that no matter what league he's in, he's going to score goals.
You want to be in a Lando's commercial? Or do you have any experience?
A little.
The name's Di James, straight out of Wales.
Have you ever worked with animals?
I have a pig, a fish, a cow.
So not much experience. Are you funny?
Some people say I am.
Can you say this? Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Lindo's, why go where?
Not gorilla flying. Do you like fajitas?
Not really.
Don't call us, we'll call you. Next!
Robin Hood Pub and Restaurant, Bermuda's #1 sports bar. The place to watch live sports while enjoying great pub-style food. They offer a wide range of menu options from breakfast to authentic Indian curry.